This is part 2 of the profile of the month with Spring Awakening cast member Jake Epstein. All right, Jake, you feeling good for this part 2?
It's one of those days, you know. It's one of those
days.
Yeah, part 2.
Let's get right into it. Question number 6. Anonymous asked, what do you know about Melchior that we wouldn't as an audience? For example, do you have any additional backstory that you keep in mind while portraying Melchior? Jessica and Rochelle also add, what do you think happens to Melchior after the show ends? Love you.
Aww. Okay. Alright, that's a really good question. Well, growing up in Toronto, I had a best friend who is very similar to Moritz. He struggled through school. He was late all the time. Teachers gave him a really hard time. And the irony about my friend was that he's so smart. Like, he used to come in and last minute he'd write an essay and he'd get like the best mark in the class. And I always felt really bad for him because I thought that teachers like never fully gave him a chance or never fully like helped him develop his full potential. And anyway, I love the dude. I talk to him all the time. He's one of the happiest people I know. But whenever I'm on stage with Moritz, I always think about growing up in high school with my best friend.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right. Are you ready for question number 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, hit me.
Okay. Laura wrote.
Laura.
Okay.
Laura.
Right. Jake, I've read that your grandparents are Holocaust survivors and your mom wrote the book, The Secret of Gabby's Dresser. Has this affected how you feel about playing such a radical character from pre-war Germany?
It's a really good question, Laura. Well, it's interesting, right? Because the play takes place, Spring Awakening takes place, 1891, Germany. And I know I always think about when I'm on stage that the other boys in class with Melchior, I mean, you think about it, they grow up to be the commanding officers in the Nazi regime. Mm-hmm. And it's this, like, repressed society that ends up, you know, birthing these Nazis, these soldiers. And from reading, you know, a lot about Wedekind, the guy that wrote Spring Awakening, I've learned that he's based Melchior on himself. And at the same time, you know, Wedekind writes he was very sympathetic towards Jews at the time, which was, you know, super controversial, again, for the time, living in Germany. So yeah, I always think that, you know, that Melchior, you know, goes on, at the end of the play, you know, he loses his friends, and he says, you watch me, like, I'm gonna change the world, I'm gonna do something. And I always think he ends up being one of those people that ends up either being part of some kind of revolt against the Nazis in Germany or ends up hiding Jews. And I always think he ends up helping the world during the Holocaust when that ends up happening. He's one of those sympathetic Germans.
Cool. All right. Question number 8. There seems to be someone on Twitter with a fake Jake Epstein account.
I've heard about this.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to set the record straight, many fans want to know, do you have a Twitter profile, MySpace, Facebook? How can fans stay in touch with you?
Okay. To set the record straight, I do not have a Twitter profile. I do not have a MySpace. I like to keep, you know, my private life pretty private, but, you know, fans can keep in touch with me by sending a note to the Spring Awakening tour, and I always do my best to try to write people back.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I know that. All right. Are you ready for question number 9? You like that one, Jacob, didn't you? It's a good one. Okay. Question number 9.
Question 9, okay.
From Anne Claire. If you could describe each of the Spring Awakening cast members, including yourself, in one word, starting with the first letter in their name, what would you say? This is a tough one.
Well, it's tough because there's a lot of Spring Awakening cast members.
Yes, right.
So describe the Spring Awakening cast members in one word with the first letter from each of their names.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you for clarifying.
I mean, we've got you know, We've got sassy Steffi right here.
Thank you.
Filming, jungle Jake.
Love it.
And, tell it like it is. Taylor is on stage with cool as a cucumber, Christy. I'll leave it there. I could go on for a long
That's
time.
a really good one. Those are like great alliterations there.
Thank you.
All right. Question number 10 and the last question.
Okay.
Anonymous and Devin from California ask, if you could have dinner with any celebrity, dead or alive, who would it be?
John Lennon.
John Lennon. Tell us why.
I grew up, he was my idol. I grew up loving the Beatles. I wrote my very first play I wrote about John Lennon.
No
about a kid
way.
who believes that he is John Lennon. And yeah, I think I would love to sit down and have a chat about his thoughts. I wish he was alive today.
That's wonderful. Well, this was the profile of the month with Spring Awakening cast member Jake Epstein. Thanks for joining us, Jake.
Thanks for filming, Steffi.